let's get some impressions from last night. Let's start with Jalen Hurts, what we saw on the field at Lincoln Financial Field last night.
Well, Saturday was his worst day. I thought Sunday was one of his better days. He definitely is helter-skelter when it comes to the quarterback position. He looks great one day, looks terrible the next. And I think because – and Nick Sirianni kind of pointed this out. I'm actually writing an article about this right now for CBSSports.com. They're really focusing on his footwork, but they're trying to find the healthy balance between throwing the football and actually taking off with the football, because that's his strength. And obviously during the season – he's going to have to take off. Like, he's not just going to sit in the pocket and go through his progressions. That's just not going to happen. But during these practice sessions, Sirianni wants that. And that throw to Wes Watkins last night, I'm sure you saw the YouTube video by now. Wow.
I did. And Wes Watkins, I'm glad you brought him up because everybody seemingly was talking about him. So let's hear about Wes Watkins. Is he a guy that, has improved so much so that he's going to have a bigger role in this offense?
I think he's going to have a bigger role. He's not a guy I would rely on, but he's a guy that can help, and that's what they need. They need guys that can help. They need Jalen Reagor and Travis Fulgham to step up, but this is a guy that can do that, and there's no expectations for him to, because he was a sixth-round pick, but he obviously has chemistry with Jalen Hurts. There's no doubt about that. We saw that in the Arizona game last year. Wes Watkins was a pleasant surprise at the end of the year, and people were having him as like a roster bubble candidate. I'm like, I actually thought he was going to make the roster regardless, because one, Hurts likes him, and two, he provides a different element to the wide receiver core. Now, this isn't a guy, I don't think he's going to be like a 6-catch, 70-yard guy every game, but you can rely on him to make a couple catches for you, and that's what they need. Like, this receiving core is young, and they need one or two of these guys to seriously develop and kind of play a role in this offense. If Wes Watkins can do that, it'll solve a couple problems for them.
Well, the question is, I thought that Peterson did not use him. He was a 6th-round pick. I didn't say that he should have got volume, but I don't think they used him correctly last year. Sirianni was asked last night about RPOs and that kind of stuff. That's where you use Watkins. RPO, bubble screens, jet sweeps, that kind of stuff. That's where he can. And every once in a while, you send him down the seam and just let him use his speed.
And if you remember correctly, he got off to a slow start last year because he didn't get to play much in training camp, obviously, I think he had an injury or something like that. I'm trying to remember the whole story with him, but I remember he got off to a late start. But overall, I always liked this game. I thought, and like you said, Mike, the bubble screens are going to be the thing with him. And if the Eagles are going to focus on short passes and getting the ball to their running back, they can honestly use him in that type of role as kind of a guy that, okay, let's give him the ball, let's get him in space and see if he can get some yards after the catch. He honestly could fill the Devonta Smith role while Devonta Smith is out right now.
Well, obviously Smith being out is big loss, but it's giving these other guys a chance. I know Watkins was the talk of last night, but did any of the other wide receivers, put themselves on the map at all?
Not really. Jalen Reagor, he had a fumble on the reverse last night. I know, you run reverses all the time, but that's a little concerning. Reagor, was inconsistent again. Travis Fulgham's been okay. I don't think he had that great of a practice last night. J.J. Arcega-White's, I just pretty much given up on him at this point. If he does anything, it's, okay, whatever. I'm at the point with him where I'm just kind of writing him off. But Wes Watkins, there's a reason why they were talking about Wes Watkins last night, because Wes Watkins, he lit it up. I mean, he really did. And I think we're going to see a lot of him Thursday night in that preseason game. I really do. And I think he's got something to prove.
Do you think we'll see Hurts Thursday night?
I do. Yes, I do.
Right.
I think we'll see him. I said this on Birds 365 this morning. I'm going to predict a quarter.
All right, a quarter for Hurts. I'm interested, because I think, was it you or maybe Adam on Thursday was talking about if he doesn't play, that means you're playing you're playing Flacco and Mullins for almost 50%, right?
Yeah, that was definitely Adam that said that. Yeah, because they don't have a fourth quarterback, and I remember listening in, and yeah, you only have 3 preseason games. You have to play these guys. Tom Brady's playing for the Bucs, and he's coming off significant MCL surgery. So, here's the thing, Mike. This guy's got to play, and not a series either. He's a young quarterback. I think he does play a quarter. And then I think they build it to a half into the second half, the second game. The third game, if he plays, he plays. I'm kind of thinking the third game is going to be like the old 4th preseason game. But
the third game used to be the big one.
Yeah, and now I feel like the second game is going to be the dress rehearsal.
Gotcha.
Maybe some teams will use the third as that, but I don't know. I kind of have a feeling these coaches are going to want to give these guys like 18 to 20 days off.
All right, give me the secondary. Give me an overview of what's happening in that secondary.
Well, do you want to start with the cornerback spot? Or
yeah, let's hear what's happening. You got Slay, you got Nelson, obviously. It feels like McPherson is the defensive version of Watkins.
Yeah, in a way he is, and they're basically lining him up on the outside. They really like how he is on the outside, and they're leaving Avonte Max and Josiah Scott, the guy they got from Jacksonville Jaguars this offseason. I think it was for a 6th-round pick, 2023 6th-round pick. They're pretty much the slot guys, and then you got McPherson, and then basically the battle for like which might be the last cornerback spot, assuming they keep 6, is between Craig James and Michael Jacquet and guys like that. But it looks like Craig James is the front runner for that spot right now. But I kind of like how they're moving Zach McPherson around. I do like, though, they're confident enough he can play on the outside. If one of the top 2 guys goes down, he could go right in there and play.
By the way, former Eagle corner Nicole Roby-Coleman has just signed with the Lions. So there you go. There's a corner off the market in that spot. But the Eagles' corner is looking a lot better today than they did 2 weeks ago. Let me ask you, you said Maddox and Scott in the slot. Do they see enough from McPherson? Because I do remember him saying when he got drafted that he could play inside, outside, and even some safety. He said that. Do you think that he could challenge in the slot?
Well, I think he can. I just think they'd rather have him outside right now. I think because he's been playing that well. And I got to give a disclaimer here. First-team guys go up against first-team guys. Second-team guys go up against second-team guys. It's not like before where it's first-team versus second-team. So there's a little light with the I should say disclaimer with the Zach McPherson thing. But the Eagles do like him on the outside, and he's making plays. So, again, I think that they're going to move him around. I do think he's going to play slide. He's going to play on the outside. They like multiple personnel like that. So I think that's what's going to help him. But ultimately, Mike, if Slay or Nelson go down, he's the first guy they're calling.
All right, there's a lot here. So we've heard a lot about Josh Sweat and this defensive line. So what did we see from that unit in the 11-on-11?
Which part are you talking about, Mike? Sorry, I missed like part of that.
The defensive line, we finally got a chance to see them in 11-on-11 and how Jonathan Gannon may utilize those guys. We've heard a lot about Sweat, Barnett. We've heard overall that the defensive line, though, has been very good. So now that we got a chance to see them kind of in how Jonathan Gannon's going to utilize them.
Yeah. Okay, so this is where I was originally going to go with this. That's why I'm glad you clarified it. So it looks like Josh Sweat's going to start. I mean, he probably should start over Derek Barnett, but that doesn't mean Barnett's having a bad camp. They both have been really good, but Josh Sweat has probably been, either him or Mallah has been the best player in camp so far. So I think they're going to rotate at the other defensive end spot. I'm looking at Josh Sweat as the first, second down guy. Barnett is the third down guy, but they're going to use multiple fronts with Sweat, Barnett, Graham, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave. They're pretty much a trench. Milton Williams are going to move everywhere between defensive end and defensive tackle. He's had a really good camp. Hassan Ridgeway is going to be in the mix, as the third/fourth defensive tackle, however you want to view it. And Ryan Kerrigan's pretty much going to play that Anthony Barr type role as an extra pass rusher as well. So the Eagles are, they're 4 deep at defensive end, but they're 4 really good defensive ends. Like, they have 4 guys that are going to get to the quarterback. If they can limit Ryan Kerrigan's snaps, he's going to be an absolute terror on that line this year.
Well, that's good to see. And obviously, I've been kind of waiting. You had the Y9 in the past, and, that allowed them to get a lot of sacks, but they're going to have a different look with those defensive linemen. But it sounds like Jonathan Gannon's still going to get a lot of good work out of this defensive front. And then the linebackers, you had Singleton back last night. Obviously, that adds to the linebacker room because you lost Taylor, who had a good start to camp, but it should be Wilson and Singleton getting most of the snaps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it will be. And, I got to give Alex Singleton a lot of credit. For a guy who missed pretty much the first 2 weeks of camp because of COVID, and he is vaccinated. I did find that out. He is vaccinated. He looks like he didn't lose a beat. Like, the guy's a football player, and he knows there's a starting job up on the line, and De'Veon Taylor was about to snatch away from him while he was out. And I tell you what, he looked like just how he left off last year. Really clean, really crisp, getting to the football, making tackles. They're not really tackling, but he's getting to the football. He's getting to the ball carrier. So overall, I mean, Alex Singleton does need to improve in coverage, but it does look like it's going to be Wilson, Singleton, and Taylor, and you really cannot complain with those three right now.
No, and guess what? I had Singleton on last year, and he said, "Look, I'd play for free if they let me. I'd go." He said
He's a football player.
He played in Germany. He's like, "I'd go to Germany and play for free just to play football." Yeah, he is a football player. We'll see if he's a good football player. I know he works his rear end off, so that's a good thing. Couple quick things on the offensive line. We saw Opeta and Driscoll getting the calls in those areas. I know Brooks is out and Sayamala is out, but were you surprised that they got the first crack?
Well, I think they want to see what they have in Opeta because they're 10 deep on the offensive line, and I think they got to evaluate, which players are going to keep and which players are going to cut. If you're looking at this, I'll go by this. So left tackle, you got Malai, you got Dillard. Right tackle, you got Johnson and Driscoll. So that's 4 there. Center's Kelsey's 5. Brandon Brooks is 6. 7, Sayamalo. So now you're looking at Suopeta, Matt Pryor, Luke Juriga. There's a couple other guys I'm forgetting. I'll tip my tongue right now. But you want to see what you got in Opeta. You want to see if Driscoll can play guard and tackle because, let's face it, if Lane Johnson gets hurt, they're probably going to move Malata over the right tackle, but it's not like Driscoll can't play that. So, yeah, I think you want to see how versatile Driscoll can be. Same with Matt Pryor. It's the exact same thing. Like, they could honestly get a day 3 pick for Matt Pryor right now. Like, and one of the undrafted free agents comes in there and outplays him, even if they don't outplay him, like, the Eagles could still get value for him. That's one thing about this Eagles offensive line. They're really deep right now, and I think they just want to see what these guys that have been here for a couple years can do.
That's a good point you bring up, Jeff, is they have the ability. There's teams that need offensive line help. They have the depth to take the phone calls. Driscoll, Herbig, as you mentioned, Pryor, Dillard. People are going to be able – Roseman could take calls and say, hey, you need help, I got guys.
Yeah, and someone on that – they're not keeping 11 offensive line. Yeah, see, like, they're so deep, I forgot about Nate Herbig. That's how valuable they are, right? That's why I think it was kind of shocking Opeta was at left guard. Like, I think Pryor's ultimately going to be the odd man out of this group. And, we got – Landon Dickerson. So Luke Juriga will probably not make this team either. So this is an embarrassment of riches right now. I think that they just want to see what these guys are going to do. That's why I'm so entrenched with the preseason game. They're going to play Opeta a lot. They're going to play Pryor a lot because they're selling them off. Like, it's not like they're bad players. It's just they would have more significant roles on other offensive lines. And everybody likes to get on Matt Pryor like he's a bad football player. I'm like, it's actually not. Like, he would probably be like a 6th or 7th like offensive lineman on a lot of teams right now.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was given some opportunities, disappointed a little bit. But I will say this. He starts on a lot of teams. Driscoll starts on a lot of teams. Herbig starts on a lot of teams. They do have guys that on a lot of other teams, their reserves are probably starters on those teams. They have 5 really good starters, and they have Dickerson, who might be better than some of these guys when it's all said and done. Very good depth there. Good depth on the defensive I don't want to say good depth, but good talent on the defensive line. But we'll see how it all kind of comes together. Sirianni last night was asked about RPOs and what role that might have in his offense.
Boy, that's something I wrote about today, too, like how he's going to utilize that. And I'll tell you what, Mike, it's going to be interesting to see Jalen Hurts run RPO because I think people think of RPO as the quarterback runs. Well, no, the quarterback has to decide a pre or post snap where to throw the football or hand it off. And, the offensive line clearly run blocks for that. But it does add an extra dimension when Jalen Hurts can kind of take 2 or 3 steps and act like he's going to run himself. And then you give it up to a running back and have a big play. But that's really what they want to focus on with him. Footwork and decision-making. Because if they're going to run these RPOs, he's going to have to think on the flyer. That's why I thought Carson Wentz struggled with the RPOs a bit. Because Nick Foles could right there and he did it. Like Carson Wentz, he had to think, he's trying to audible, trying to double check, trying to do all this. And, it's all the pre-snap reads and the pre-snap motions. And that's what the Eagles are really trying to grow in the Jalen Hurts right now. So overall, at the end of the day, it's going to be very intriguing to see Jalen Hurts when they actually do run some RPOs.
All right, Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports, 97.3 ESPN.com. The Eagles open up Thursday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll have you covered. We'll have the game live here with Merrill and Mike on 97.3 ESPN at Jeff Kerr CBS. And, of course, the Eagles are back, and you can only hear them on 97.3. All right, Jeff, we will talk to you Wednesday, man.
Yeah, sounds great, Mike. Hoping to be there on Thursday, too, by the way. I don't know how they're going to work everything yet. I was at the media tour Friday. I didn't get a full grasp of that or like a concrete answer, but I'm really hoping to be there because I'm ready for some football.
Yeah, I know everybody. It feels like at least there was fans back there. 27,000 fans, I think, over at Lincoln Financial Field for the practice last night. All right, man, keep me posted.
Yeah, hopefully the Phillies are on a 9-game win streak next time I come on.
That would be nice as well. All right, Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports here on the Sports Bash. All right, we got plenty more to do before we get out of here tonight. We'll wrap up the show, and then game night tonight. Josh has you until 7 o'clock. Eagles and Steelers on Thursday. Cowboys and Cardinals on Friday. Big baseball tilt on Saturday. Sunday night baseball. We are your home for live sports. Jeff Kerr's appearance on the Sports Bash is brought to you by Calvi Electric Company in Atlantic City, and their new residential division is here to help with all your home and business electrical needs online at calvielectric.com. Jeff will be back on Wednesday and Friday here on the Sports Bash.